Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Joe Rogan Podcast Summary Channel, where we break down the best moments from the Joe Rogan Experience. Today, we're diving into episode number 2330, featuring none other than Bono, the legendary frontman of U2, activist, and author. This episode, dropped on May 30th, 2025, runs for about 3 hours and 7 minutes, and it's packed with stories about music, activism, humor, and some deep philosophical takes. So grab your headphones, settle in, and let's unpack the highlights of this incredible conversation. First off, Joe kicks things off with a ton of excitement, sharing how he got early access to Bono's companion film for his memoir, Bono, Stories of Surrender. He calls it a fever dream, and you can hear the genuine admiration in his voice. The film, shot in black and white for clarity, is available on Apple TV+, and the memoir itself is out through Penguin Random House. There's even a limited edition vinyl soundtrack you can grab from U2's official website. This sets the stage for a personal and reflective chat as Bono dives into his life, from U2's early days to his global activism. One of the coolest stories Bono shares is about U2's song, I Will Follow. He reveals it was inspired by the loss of his mother, whose burial site was near the band's rehearsal space. Imagine that. Rehearsing with your band, pouring your heart into music, with such a personal connection right there. That raw emotion shaped U2's early sound, with Bono describing how he used to shout at God and at the band in a punk rock style. It's a glimpse into the passion that fueled U2's rise. Bono also gets into U2's creative process, and this part is gold for music fans. He talks about how the band operates like a democracy. Everyone shares the economics and decision-making, which is a big reason they've stayed together for decades. He drops a wild stat. Edge, U2's guitarist, has come up with 526 song ideas. Bono emphasizes they write music out of joy, not obligation, which keeps their work fresh and authentic. It's a reminder of why U2's music feels so alive, even after all these years. The conversation takes a turn toward Bono's activism, and this is where things get intense. He's deeply involved in the fight against the AIDS pandemic, and he shares that PEPFAR, a U.S. program, has saved 26 million lives. That's a staggering number, right? But then he hits you with a gut punch. Recent USAID cuts could lead to 300,000 deaths due to reduced aid. He also mentions 50,000 tons of food rotting in places like Djibouti, South Africa, Dubai, and Houston because of logistical failures. It's a sobering moment that shows the real-world stakes of his work and sparks a bigger discussion about global responsibilities. Bono's not just about serious stuff, though. He's got a great sense of humor. He says humor is evidence of freedom, and you can feel his love for it when he talks about watching Richard Pryor at 15 or 16 and being blown away by a Sam Kinison bit. He even shares a funny story about performing with Luciano Pavarotti, where his bandmates were freaking out about Pavarotti's camera crew stealing the spotlight. It's these lighthearted moments that make Bono so relatable, balancing the heavy topics with warmth and wit. Music, for Bono, is almost a spiritual thing. He describes performing Ordinary Love on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon and how it hit the audience like a wave. He calls music a communal experience, even comparing it to religion, but with a cheeky twist, churches need better tunes. He also gets philosophical, saying love is greater than faith and hope, which ties into his broader view of art and connection. It's a beautiful way to think about music's power to bring people together. Bono drops some amazing stories about meeting music legends too. He talks about working with Johnny Cash on American Recordings with Rick Rubin, describing Cash's prayerful spirit. Then there's Frank Sinatra, who taught him to read song lyrics like an actor, which shaped Bono's duet with him on I've Got You Under My Skin. These anecdotes show how Bono soaked up wisdom from the greats, and it's cool to hear how those moments influenced U2's performances. The episode isn't just about music and activism. It gets into broader societal stuff. Bono references George C. Marshall, who invested 4% of US GDP in post-World War II Europe, and ties it to ideas about community and the American dream. He also touches on NAFTA's economic impact and even Miyamoto Musashi's Book of Five Rings from the 1400s, using it to talk about finding your way in life. It's deep, but Bono makes it accessible, weaving these big ideas into personal reflections. One surprising topic is social media. Bono estimates 50 to 80% of interactions online might be bots, which is a wild thought. He also brings up Daryl Davis, a guy who converted over 200 KKK members through dialogue, showing the power of real conversation. It's a reminder that even in a noisy digital world, human connection can make a difference. Oh, and there's a hilarious moment where Bono talks about meeting Princess Diana. His dad's reaction to it is pure gold. Classic dad humor that had Joe and Bono cracking up. It's these personal touches that make the episode so engaging, like you're just hanging out with them. Before we wrap up, let's hit a few more highlights. Bono talks about performers who break the fourth wall, calling them feral, and saying that's what draws him in. He also reflects on his dad, saying he learned to appreciate him through shared performances, which is a heartfelt moment. And for all you U2 fans, the democratic vibe of the band, where everyone has a say, really stands out as a key to their success. So there you have it, a deep dive into Joe Rogan Experience number 2330 with Bono. From U2's early days and creative process to hard-hitting activism and laugh-out-loud stories, this episode has it all. If you want to check out the full conversation, it's on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can also grab Bono's memoir or check out the Stories of Surrender film on Apple TV+. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more Joe Rogan breakdowns. Until next time, stay curious. What part of this conversation do you find most interesting?